Hey guys, this is Tanner with Stand Tall Barbering. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to do a textured mullet on my very own son. Let's get straight into it. We're going to start off the cut by fully saturating the hair with water and a little bit of diluted hair tonic. I like to start every mullet with my scissor work first. I start any haircut that requires any amount of length preservation in the fringe with the fringe, establishing our first guideline. I'm using a feather razor here instead of my shears for a softer look when the hair rests. This way we make sure the cut never looks like a bowl cut in the front. We will be adjusting our sections working backwards until we reach the apex of the head, making sure we are sticking with our guide from the very first cut. Now we are going to comb all of the hair down and create a mohawk section to create our secondary guide. Making sure to never make our sections any more than the width of an average comb. The smaller the sections, the more precise a cut is going to be. Making sure you have proper tension, pick up your mohawk section and connect it with the fringe section we previously cut. Making sure to point cut in this situation, and also making sure when we are cutting to not allow the cut to drop or raise as we cut towards the crown. Cutting in nice square layers for a more masculine design. Now we are going to move to the side of the initial mohawk section, create another section parallel to it, while also including a piece of the previous mohawk section so we can see our traveling guide. Some of you might judge me for cutting past my second knuckle, but I found if I cross my fingers slightly, I can create consistent tension all the way to my hand. We're going to repeat these same sections until we get to the side of the head. I'm going to skip through the other half of the top of the head for the video's sake, but it's the same process. Now we need to blend the top with the sides. For that we will take diagonal forward sections starting from the crown, working to just before the fringe, being very careful to not cut into the fringe. We are cutting in diagonal forward sections because diagonal sections maintain moderate weight, which helps us build our shape, while completely vertical sections will take away from our shape. Utilizing palm to palm so we don't strain our shoulder and so we have an easier time maintaining a square shape because your fingers can't bend backwards. Clipping the corner of the fringe out of your way is a good way to make sure you don't get carried away and cut into the fringe. Using the same method, we will be mirroring what we did on the other side of the head. His mullet hasn't been cut in a while, so he's getting into Joe Dirt territory. The goal with this specific cut is to lose length and create movement in the hair in one step. The trick to that is using a feather razor. Cutting texture into the back of a mullet with shears can just leave lines and points. I feel much more natural and efficient by just using my feather razor instead. We are going to tackle the back just like we tackled the top of the head, creating a mohawk section in the center and working out, making sure every section has a piece of the last section to keep our traveling guide. We will be sliding our razor back and forth while letting the hair under our fingers slide out under moderate tension, ensuring that we are preserving more and more length as we move towards the neckline. I have found it is imperative to take extra time at the very bottom to clean up flyaways that the razor may have missed with my shears. Most barbers were not taught how to use a feather razor, including myself, but as times change, we need to start utilizing all of our tools. The razor is a game changer in the overall quality of your haircuts and efficiency. Now we are going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the back of the head. For this, I'm going to fast forward. Now to get into the fade, I start 90% of my fading with clipper over comb to debulk and create shape off the bat. My clipper over comb with no guard and my lever open while slightly rocking the comb back while the spine rests on the head, effectively knocking down everything around the parietal ridge down to a 2. Now with our lever closed and no guard, we will make our first guideline. We want to slightly curve our guideline over the top of the ear, but never taking it behind the ear. If we take the fade too far behind the ear, we run the risk of turning this mullet into a mohawk fade. Now with our trimmers, we will go right under that 0 guideline, making sure to stop right under that 0 guideline. Now we will take our foil shaver and go just under the imaginary trimmer line. You might have heard me say it before, but the easiest way to get out a bald line is to never make one. Once we are done balding out, we will go above our 0 line with our no guard open, creating a nice clean guideline. When making guidelines in small spaces, make sure to flick out so you make getting the next guideline out a little easier. This is less true when you have large fading surfaces and more room to work with. To blend this bottom line out, we will be playing with our lever, closing our lever as we work down to the 0 and opening the lever as we work towards the half. This section is where you'll have to find a rhythm and a method on your own. This, in my opinion, is one of those unexplainable with word situations. You'll have to figure it out by trial and error. You will get a feel for it as you get more practice. Now with our one guard closed, we will make our next guideline about a ½ inch above the last. using the left corner of the blade to debulk the little sliver of weight between the fade and the back of the mullet. Now we are going to slap on our half guard and close up our lever and attack the bottom line, closing it as we move towards the bottom section and opening it as we move towards the top of the section. Now we are going to attach our one guard again, and this time we will open it all the way up and attack that top line. Now we are going to put on our 1.5 guard with our blade completely closed and flick out the top line drastically. I have found if we exaggerate our flick with this step, this minimizes cleanup at the end. Right here, I'm using the left corner of the blade to blend the fade into the back of the head. Now to touch up the fade with scissor over comb, making sure we are coming off the head and letting all the hair fall out of the comb before stopping. Making sure to never abruptly stop because that will cause lines in your fade. Now we are going to add extra texture in the top by running our texture razor through the top, using only the first few teeth of the feather razor while using very light pressure. If we apply too much pressure, we run the risk of putting a patch in someone's head. For an extra touch, I will be pulling up hair in no particular order and cutting deep point cuts to further thin and create more exaggerated texture. To style and finish this cut, I will be using two products. The first one I'm using is Victory Crown Styling Powder. You can see me lifting up sections of the hair vertically, so when I pour the powder in, it coats the entirety of the hair shaft, all the way down to the scalp. It is imperative the top is dry before adding any powder or it will clump up. The next product I'll be using is Victory Crown's Matte Pomade. By using just a touch of this with the powder, I can create a hold that will last all day and help emphasize the texture I intently cut into the hair. This is the before. This is the after. If this video helped you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Nice.